how can your nervous system become compromised? What can happen that it's not currently a perfect conduit for this life energy to reach every cell, to organize every part of you into a coherent, functional whole? What might cause your nervous system to not be functional in that way? Stress. Stress basically comes in three forms, right? Physical stress, chemical stress, and emotional stress. And what happens throughout life is that stress overloads us. It comes at us too fast, faster than we can process the information, and it becomes locked in our nervous system. We go into a state called fight or flight. You guys familiar with that term? Okay. Literally, we're holding on to stresses of a lifetime in our bodies and minds. Because our nervous system, whose job it is to adapt us to our environment, cannot adapt quickly enough. Does this sound familiar to anyone? This making sense? So your nervous system gets more and more locked into this stress response, and it more begins to respond in what I call a chronic stress response. So now, we're living our life, we're sitting in a comfortable setting here, and our nervous system may still be locked in fight or flight. Okay, now in fight or flight, this chronic stress response is a brilliant response to an actual emergency, you see? But it's a terrible way to live your life. You know, it's kind of like this. If you were to walk out of the room and a saber-toothed tiger, were to start coming towards you, you'd want that fight or flight response, yes? You'd want to be able to run or fight for your life really quickly. The good news is this, okay? I spoke to hotel management before I came here, okay? And they have assured me the saber-toothed tiger population here is under control, okay? So there's no worries. So wouldn't it be crazy to have that same physiology when you left this room or while you were sitting here in your chairs? Now, what is that effect? What is the effect that being locked in this stress response is going to have on our lives, on our daily function, on our minds and our bodies? Okay? Well, let's look. Let's look at a few examples, okay? If you're locked in this chronic stress response, what's it going to do to your muscles? Relax or tight? Okay, tense. Okay? What about blood pressure, up or down? Okay? What about things like immune function? Is it going to be improved or decreased? Suppressed. Okay? How about digestion, improved or decreased? Okay? Get the idea? Okay? Begin to think about your own life. Begin to think about the people in your life, right? If your muscles are chronically tense, and because your muscles tend to be stronger on one side of your body than the other, they tend to do this, okay? What's that going to do to your spine? Now people walk around and they say, I've got neck pain, I've got back pain, I've got headaches, I've got shoulder problems, okay? But what's the core? What's the cause? Stress. And not just stress, because as we said, stress is everywhere. It's our inability to adapt to the stresses of life that cause our bodies to break down. Okay? I've got digestive problems. I've got heart problems. I've got high blood pressure. I'm depressed. I'm anxious. What's it going to do to our mental function? We're going to be more stressed, right? So we're going to work around anxiety, nervousness, and then what happens over time as that stress begins to build more and more, and then our adrenals get exhausted, and this whole cycle runs itself through, we call that depression. And people are walking around, they're taking handfuls of pills every day just to deal with the effects of chronic stress overload. To deal with the effects of a system that isn't able to flow the energy of life through it the way you were designed. And now you want me to take away your symptoms. No, that's not the point. You get it? If you're in a house that's on fire, and I come in, I'm the fireman, and I come running up with my siren and my big red hat and everything, and I run through the burning house, and I pull the battery out of the smoke alarm, and I drive away, you guys going to be pleased with the service? You get it? But isn't that annoying, that smoke alarm? Okay? That's what your symptoms are doing for you guys. They're letting you know. They're letting you know that you're not connected. They're letting you know that there's room always for the next level, for improvement. Okay? Life is not meant to be static. There's always the next level. Now, for some people, the next level might be just to get up to 0, right? Like 0 means, I just don't hurt so bad, I'm just not anxious. I'm just at level ground, okay? That's medicine's entire function, folks, is to get you to 0. I want to know what's above that line. What comes above 0? More and more and more. If 0 is just barely getting by, how good can it get? How high does this line go? Infinity. There's no limit to how well you can be. But most people are living below the line, hanging desperately onto 0, hoping they can get up to that. And I got to tell you something. Every time you try to do that, we call that restorative healing, okay, or restorative therapeutics, not what we do. Every time you try and restore someone to a previous state, just get me back to where I was before I was hurting. Every time you restore someone back, you never get all the way back, do you? If every time you lose 5%, right, next thing you know, you've lost a lot of ground. And you're still doing the same stuff, but it's not working as well as it used to. And then what do? If we're over about 50, what do we call that? We say, sure, my health is failing. I must be getting old. That's what your doctor will tell you, right? If you go to your doctor and you say, you know what, I'm tired, my muscles ache, I'm getting more nervous, my digestion's not so good, my blood pressure's up. He's going to say, well, how old? Oh, I'm 50. Well, of course you're 50, right? You're getting old. These things happen as we get older. And you go, oh, phew, thank God, I thought something was wrong with me. For a second, I thought I was going to have to take responsibility for it. Whew, you mean I could just take a pill and keep going the way I was? All right, good. We'll stay in collusion, me and you, doctor. I promise. I won't change my life. You just keep writing those prescriptions. Sound fair? Okay. Not in our office, folks. Okay? In our office, it is a partnership. Okay? Because if I'm going to do the work to clear your nervous system, and we'll talk a little bit about what that means in a second, then I need to know that you're not going out into your life and screwing it up all over again. Fair? Okay? I don't need you coming to me forever for the same problems. I want you to bring new problems. I want you to bring new challenges. I want you to say, my life is great. How do I make it better? So that's the objective here. The objective is that we want to have your nervous system become a vehicle for the power of life and allow your body and mind to do what it's designed to do. Heal, grow, evolve. Go beyond. You see, it's not about getting rid of something. It's not trying to get rid of a pain or a sickness or an illness. It's about rising to a level of energy and function where that pain or illness is no longer relevant. At this level of energy, you got back pain and digestive problems and you're depressed. At this level of energy, they just can't exist anymore. They just don't exist. It's not their environment anymore. Your immune system is a totally different animal as you get more connected. Make sense? So what we're about here is not being less sick. It's about being more well. Almost everyone you talk to is about being less sick. The great thing about being more well is not only do you get less sick, but you also get all the benefits of being more well. The energy, the vitality, the peace, the connection. The stuff that we really want, but somehow we got lost. We got off track because we've been trying to chase away our symptoms all this time. When you run from something, folks, it tends to chase you faster. So if you're running from symptoms, they will catch you. Okay? That's just the way it works. If you're moving towards something else, then you have a very different relationship to your health. If you're moving towards vitality, towards wellness, then you have a very different experience.